Hello everybody. This is just a quick video before going to bed on the back of the video that I did earlier today about the 3 countries that I'm starting to collect from the box of tricks here. All of them are arts and crafts stamps, certainly bought as arts and crafts. I have managed to pick up 1 or 2 nice ones. Most of them worth 0 and 1 or 2 are worth the odd penny. So what have I done today? Well, the ones that I picked out were Austria, Denmark and Norway. So I thought I'd show you the Austria page, and I'll do the other pages as we go along, in future days. So these are the ones I've managed to hinge onto the page. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be interesting to just find out a little bit about the Austria postal system, post-1945, because I think all of these, anything that is before 1945, they're going in a special stock book. But these are not. These are going to be hinged and put on card paper behind a plastic sleeve and put in a folder, and I'm going to do the A to Z of Europe, if there is a Z. So I went on to AI and I asked it, give me some fun facts about Austria. So it told me that after the First World War, Austria was occupied by the Allies, and actually in May 1945 the Soviet zones began overprinting German stamps with Österreich. Now, I didn't know that the Soviets had taken over Austria. I think Austria should be pretty grateful that the Soviets didn't hang around much longer than that, because, we think of Austria as a free country since 1945, but obviously it was up in the air, wasn't it? They also added black bars to obscure Deutsches Reich, because I think when Germany marched into Austria, they just used German stamps from then on. Anyway, the first Austrian stamp post-war was the post horn, and I think that is is a universal thing. It seems to be, doesn't it? I'm just going to slurp a coffee. The post horn is the symbol of the postal system, so it seems pretty obvious that they would use that as their first independent stamp. And it looks as if there was a post horn series, and it was designed in the USA, because the USA by that time, I think, were in charge of Austria. Issued June 1945, denominated in Groschen and shilling, but it was paid for still in Reichsmarks, because they hadn't managed to change the currency up until then. Vienna, which is the capital of Austria, resumed postal operations in May 1945. 1945 to 48, the landscape series was put out. So that's Salzburg, the Tyrol, and Vienna. No. In 1947, that's when the currency was reformed, and that prompted a reprint of that series. So look out for those. 1950 was the centennial of Austrian philately. So that means that in 1850, that's when the first stamps came out in Austria. 1950 also, it was the National Costume Series, and I do believe that's one of them. Though that is 1958, it says. And that actually says 61, so I don't know. Again, this is AI, do your own research, don't listen to my dating. I'm simply doing my best. 1951 Dr. Karl Renner stamp, I don't know who he is, to my shame. 1951 Austria Reconstruction series. So this was to show how Austria was being rebuilt at the end and after the Second World War. 1960 to 69, 255 stamps were released. Wow, that's just in a decade. That's 255 stamps. Wow, that's going to take some collecting. Woo. 1960, Austria joined the Europa stamp program. You see all those with, you get European stamps. It's got Europa on it, and it's got a symbol of peace, possibly. It's got doves anyway, hanging downwards, and you see a lot of them. Austria obviously joined. 1970-79, I was now asking for other facts. So over 300 stamps issued. Wow. That's going to take some collecting. So I'm not going to try and get every one. I then thought, well, come on. Ask the proper questions. What's the rarest stamp? It turns out in 1964, there was a semi-postal stamp that was issued. And it was to support anti-tuberculosis efforts. There was a printing error, and a small number missed the surcharge value. It's got like 10, and then it's got +5. That +5 was missing. I'm not saying it's +5, but you know what I mean. It's the value was missing. So that was an error which was quickly. Some of them got out. Not many at all, and apparently that is the most rarest and therefore most precious. The precious stamp out of Austria since 1945. Also rare, 1967, Vienna. Oh, Vienna. Vienna Philharmonic error, misprint. Not sure what the misprint was. I hope it's not like my spelling. 1973, we've got the Europa series. There was a colour shift, which I think means there was it went from deep to shallow, or from shallow to deep in colour. Again, not many were allowed through before they were brought back. 1985, the UN Vienna overprint error. So that may be worth looking out for. 2005 Mozart anniversary sheet. It was a limited edition, so it was a purposeful rarity, limited edition, and it sold out quickly. So I've got none of those. Mine are worth negative equity, so these are minus value, if anything. But I learnt a little bit through the power of AI, through the power of stamps. Let's just have a little look what we've got here. Well, we've got the Benedictine Abbey. This is a series of abbeys and monasteries. 1985, that one, 1984. This is Wernberg Cloister. Not sure, there's going to be hundreds of stamps produced during the 80s, and this would be a series that I'm sure a week after they brought out another series of something else. 1958. So this looks like national costume, doesn't it? She looks Austrian, as if she's going hiking in the Alps. And I've put the arrow from the 1950s here, national costume series. Now, could this stamp have been bought in 1950, kept, and then used in 1958? I don't think so. I think there's an error somewhere. Either it's not one of the national costume stamps. I think it might be. But maybe the year is all to pot. What else have we got here? We've got two Salzburgs. 1962 Salzburg. I decided just to hinge both up. Possibly 1948-49. This also may possibly be another national costume. It's green. When I see green and coloured stamps, I think coloured stamps tend to be more modern, but I'll just sort of get, I think 48, 49, I think that's a difficult ask for me to believe that this is 1948, 49 because it is green. They tend to be more, sepia, or not that's a, you get what I mean. They tend to be more bland than colourful back in the 40s. But what do I know? And then, as if to contradict me immediately, a 1951, and this again seems as if it could be the national costume. In fact, 50 seems to have the same sort of script. Could well be, So we could have three of them. Yes, I don't know why it's picked up as 58 and it's got 61 when it was postmarked. This doesn't have a postmark. Yeah. So anyway, I thought I would put that out tonight. I'm off to my bed now. And yeah, I've done enough stamping for today. Hope you're having a good night yourself, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, all being well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye for now.